Good morning from Disturbia. When I see these blue clouds, I just really wonder how good a morning it actually is. In Disturbia and across the face of the whole flat earth, look at that blue. Layers and layers and layers of it. It's an electric blanket. It is metal, which has been ground into fine particulates, aerosolized, and sprayed into the sky. It's falling down. And we're breathing it in. It seems like this metal is responsible for Alzheimer's, Parkinson's, ALS, cancers, leukemias, Huntington's disease, horrible disease, by the way. It's all dis-ease, and it's all brought to us by science. That's what it's there for. It is there to degrade mankind. They degrade us while they tell us we're evolving and turning into gods. And when Satan comes with his mark, he's going to tell you that you'll live forever as a young god. Youth is important, of course. And you don't need God, because they can destroy God. This is what they believe, that they can destroy the Almighty. How can that be? Take a look at this rip here in the clouds. Look at that. Tearing apart. Clouds in the sky, first of all, they're not blue. And they're not white like that either. They're not pasty white and stuck to the sky. I don't see any fog, thank goodness. But probably the next couple days we will get fog. Maybe that's why they're saying we're going to have rain, because when we get rain and fog, the temperatures do go up. That's why we have rain all winter long. It's not real rain, folks. I believe there is an element of mercury involved. The mercury driving the mercury for the glow ball. You might ask yourself, why is it that they want the heat? To be honest, I can't tell you everything because I don't know. It's insane. It's very hard to wrap your head around what's going on, what they're doing. But you see, in the Bible, it tells us in Daniel 2:43, they mix iron with miry clay. The miry clay is mankind and creation. We're made out of the ground, out of the dust of the earth. And look at this anomaly here. The blue and the white, the AC, the DC, providing a charge for the glow ball. And the thing is, if they're spraying metal and we're breathing it in, they're putting the metal into the clay, which will not cleave. They want us weak, you see. People who are weak are more submissive because they need help. They rely on other people. They're dependent to one degree or another on others. And the weaker you are, the more dependent you are on others. And they want us depending on them for answers. For example, when Corona came, people wanted to know what's going on, what do I need to do, am I gonna die, on and on. And what did people do? They turned on the radio, they turned on the TV, and there were the politicians, the ministers of Baal, telling us what we need to do. Politics is religion, people. Why do they call themselves ministers? It was very, very clever of the forces that should not be to start these wars, bloodshed for Baal, and then reestablish a hierarchy. Political ministers that people could actually vote for, unlike a king. But to be honest, there really is not that much of a difference. It's just a sleight of hand. It's a shell game, really. And the more, I'm not sure if this is real cloud back here or not. Looks like it might be. Yesterday we had plenty of real cloud too that was just slimed out. Look at this. This is part of a vortex. It's a wheel in the sky that soaks up the oxygen and brings down gas. We're being asphyxiated, folks, slowly but surely. Here's an airplane. Here's an airplane. Do you see anything coming out of the back of that? You can actually identify it as an airplane. These so-called chemtrail planes, you can't even identify them as such. Not only that, but these lines that you see being sprayed that look green to me. Look at that. Somewhere over the rainbow. So now I lost my train of thought. But you can see the white turns to pink, to blue, to white, and then it just falls down. Clouds do not fall apart in the sky, people. This thing is breaking up. Why? Somebody said the holes are the eyes looking down on us. I don't know. Look at this. You can see that this is beginning to separate. It's alchemical. If you look up alchemy, you'll see the word sublimation. They cook. They're cooking this aerosol. Look at it. You can see the frequencies running through it. Take a look. It's falling apart. If I held the camera, if I trained the camera on this spot for half hour, pretty soon you wouldn't see anything, or this thing would begin to gyrate. All different kinds of things happen. I used to do slow motion videos on a channel called Psalm 27, and it's very elaborate on this old camera to do a slow motion. But you could just see the manipulation taking place right in front of your eyes. We're not dealing with flesh and blood. We're dealing with powers and principalities and rulers in high places. And God, of course, is not contending with them. All God needs to do is breathe on them, and they're dead. And they know this. That's why it's kind of interesting that they nevertheless fool themselves and try to fool anyone else that will let themselves be deceived into believing that Satan can actually conquer God. Look at this. Look at how unnatural this is. The thing about God is that he is all about law and order. And this is disorderly. It's dysfunctional. It's in a state of disarray. It's dishomogeneous. It's dishonest. It's disingenuous. Take a look back here now. This is opening up. The sun's going to come up. But look at the glow. You're not seeing any rays of the sun. You're not seeing any rays at all because it's all just glowing metal. They're literally forging metal in the sky. Here is a chemtrail plane. I don't believe they need planes to deliver this. I don't believe there's pilots flying these things. Maybe there are. But they don't need planes. I've seen so many days where we've had chemtrails and no planes to speak of. Or sometimes they'll have them really, really, really high up, just spraying this glaze over the heavens. It's all detrimental. It's all deadly. It's a slow kill. It's a slow grill. Why are they doing it? They're doing it to make us weak so that we take the mark of the beast. I mean, that 1 week of 40-degree weather, I mean, it wasn't 40 degrees every day, but the thing is, the forces that should not be exploit the sun. They use it for themselves against us, and they say, well, the sun is so hot because of the CO2. And then when the sun reaches the highest point, which is on the 21st of June this year, it's probably the same every year, then they really crank up the heat. They just exploit the sun and tell lies about it. That's what they always do. They tell lies about everything. Look at this. I think it's a real cloud being snuffed out. See how this blue ink just surrounds the cloud and breaks it up. They don't want us to see the truth because we might start comparing and saying, why does this look a lot different than that? Why is this cumulonimbus different than this flat shite that's been sprayed in? But I doubt it very highly because even kids in school are being taught wrong now. They're being taught that things are changing, clouds are changing, nature's changing. Nothing changes, people. Nothing. Just the stories that they tell change. You can see line, 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 line. It's like a girl having been sprayed in there. People will say the earth can't be flat because in nature nothing's flat. Well, look, what about these flat clouds? I had somebody tell me recently that I was talking to about all these things, and he was talking to me. He said they can't change the weather. And after we had this discussion about God and the weather and about FIFA and the World Soccer Championships, I thought to myself, maybe he is a Freemason just denying everything. And he was appalled and shocked that I knew this. They get appalled and they get shocked because they don't think anybody knows. Who reads the Bible nowadays? And I'll tell you something else. If you don't read the Bible, you're not going to find out. I didn't know anything and really until I read the Bible. I believe that there was a conspiracy going on because of the uniformity of the lies, the uniformity of the degradation, the uniformity of these so-called patterns. They're not patterns. This is erratic, you see. Look at this thing flying diagonally down to the ground. Have you ever been on an airplane that flew diagonally down to the ground? You'd be in trouble if it did. Look how these things slant. So, anyhow, I lost my train of thought again. I'm sorry. Just looking over here to the left at this dull dinge that's been sprayed in. Very disgraceful. Dirty. Take a look back here. You can actually see the gas coming off of those. Why can't people see it? It looks like it's got a greenish hue to it. There's a hole there. These wicked, they rule the skies. They rule the Ethernet. They rule the internet. People don't want to know that. I've been told, oh, no, it's all just, it's all these fascinating computers. They're so quick. They're like God. No, I'm telling you, we're dealing with powers and principalities and rulers in high places. You're having a discussion with a fallen angel on there. It's interesting. I've had quite a few discussions about Mozart, for example, and never have I received the same information twice. It will lie to you. AI will lie. You've got to know more than AI so that you can catch it out if it starts lying to you. Sometimes it will insist on its lies and on its argumentation, and sometimes it will relent. It all just depends. I'm going to turn this corner and you'll see this sky. It's the white and the blue providing a chart. Look at this. Look at that. Insane. Nobody really complains about it. I mean, that's another way. You can sort of surmise that if they're not complaining about this shite in the sky and what they're breathing in and the death of the earth, then probably, most likely, they're complicit with it. I mean, who can be that ignorant? Look at this. Totally anomalous. You've got black, you've got pink, you've got this white gas here. I believe this is mercury because mercury soaks in the oxygen and blows it back, and as it soaks in the oxygen, it heats up. Just like it probably must have been done in the days of Sodom and Gomorrah when it rained fire and brimstone. And we're not too far from that now, folks. God said he would destroy Mystery Babylon upon the completion of 70 years. Look it up. Jeremiah, let me think. 25:12, I believe it is. It might be 12:25. But it's in Jeremiah, and it's also in Jeremiah 29. And it's also in Daniel. Daniel talks about 70 weeks. And Jeremiah talks about 70 years. Completion. And we're now in the 78th year of Mystery Babylon. What is Mystery Babylon? It's counterfeit Israel. It's Esau pretending to be Jacob Israel, calling us white trash, calling us Caucasians, calling us Indo-Europeans, calling himself a Jew. I mean, this is something that you're not allowed to say. The forces that should not be will get very angry with you. They have the power to put you in jail. They have the power to fine you up to the gills so that you go bankrupt. This is what the Bible calls the time of Jacob's trouble. Truth be told, Jacob has always been in trouble with Esau. Look at this. Read the story of Jacob and Esau in the Bible. It starts when Rebecca gets pregnant, finally. And there's a war in her womb. And she's asking God what in the world is going on in there. And he says there's two manner of people in there, two kinds of nations. The elder will serve the younger. Who's the elder? Who came out first? Esau. Why did Esau come out first? Because he was stepping on Jacob's head. How do we know that? Because Jacob grabbed Esau's heel when he was going out. I can just see it right in front of me, right in front of my mind's eye. Esau struggling to get out of that womb first so that he could get the birthright. That's why God hates Esau, according to Malachi 1. Jesus Christ said that Esau's father was the devil, John 8:44. Please read John 8. Esau was never in captivity. That means he cannot possibly be Judah, because Judah was sold into captivity by Esau, who is also known as the Babylonian, Mount Seir, Idumea, Edom, and the Chaldean. Abraham was taken out of the Chaldeans, out of Ur of the Chaldees. Job was having this great contest with the children of Esau. Eliphaz is a child of Esau. So there's always been contention between these two people. One of them is stronger than the other. Esau is stronger than Jacob because Jacob is a mild-mannered man who lived in tents, it says in the Bible. And Esau was a hunter of men, just like Nimrod. He was a hunter. He was a hard man. And his father Isaac loved him. His father Isaac, who wanted to give Esau the blessing. And Rebekah said, no, 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 this cannot be. Jacob gets the blessing. So they resorted to subterfuge. And believe me, Jacob has paid for that, and the children of Jacob. This has all been worked out through the course of history. Take a look at this street. They keep tearing it up. Just when you think they're done tearing it up, everything's closed up, traffic is free, they start tearing it up again. It is just unbelievable. I mean, I really would hate to live here. You see, we're going up a hill here, and these hills are their holy places because that's where they sacrifice. The top of this hill, there's an opening to the underground. I've gone by it many times. I've shown it many times, and I made a video about it once called "This is where they worship the God of Forces." There's a temple across the street. There's a parking lot. They put in a stoplight even, so that the people can conveniently go in, park, and then get out because there's so much traffic here. People going into Frankfurt, people going to work and this and that. But anyway, so we are in the 78th year of Mystery of Babylon, which is counterfeit Israel. And we are in their clutches now. They formulated the so-called Noahide laws, which foresee the death of Christians who they say worship a Trinity. They're the ones that worship the Trinity. They're the ones that worship Horus, the child of Semiramis, and what was his name? I can't think of it right at the moment. Zeus, a kind of a Zeus. All of these mythical character families with a child, they're the Trinity. That's who they worship. And yet they project this on Christians. Real Christians. I'm talking about people who read the Bible, who know the truth, who understand who Israel is, who know who Esau is, and Ishmael, who Esau is using as a broom to sweep out the children. Now here we're coming up to this high area. Here is a graveyard with a fence. Here is the opening, a portal to the underground. They just renovated it not too long ago. Here's the temple back here in this grove. You can't see it for the trees, you see. And then here's the stoplight that they put in for the parking lot that they installed over here so that people can go worship the God of forces in the temple. So anyhow, thank you for listening. I'm running up to the end of my time here. Repent, believe the truth, stop lying. Do not take the mark of the beast. Amen.